Good morning, everyone. It's Monday morning again, and we know we're a little bit late, so please forgive us. We have Hangout challenges, something new, right? It's nothing that we haven't had before. Can't make the audio work, can't make the video work, and then when we finally get them all working, then something else goes crazy, like there was laundry to do again this morning. So welcome to working from home and working with the newest technology when you're over age 50. Nothing new, but we're here. Yay, and it's Monday, another week, and we have some really, really interesting stuff today. Breuner is a branding expert, and she's going to spend some time talking with us about the kinds of words that we choose and the impact of words. And I want to spend a little minute talking about it first because I don't know if you remember the way some of us do, that there used to be this story that circulated that Eskimos have 1,000 different words for the word snow and how weird that seemed to us that didn't live in the Arctic. And yet if you think about it, if you were living in an environment where the snow could actually make a difference in whether or not you lived or died, having many, many words to describe all the different kinds of crunchy, slushy, melted, powdery, whatever kinds of snow you can have during a long, long winter like the ones they live with, it makes sense. We need to be able to be really clear, and our communication is like key, and we've talked about that a lot here. You know that when you communicate better, you get better results. And the problem is, for us human beings, there is such a vast amount of stuff we could talk about. You know, the things you see if you live in a snowy landscape change all day long. When the light changes, everything changes. So what if you had a word for every single kind of thing that could be happening? Your vocabulary would be enormous, and ours isn't. It's limited. We cannot express, even with the best word we can come up with, we cannot always express what we actually see or experience because our vocabulary, our ability to speak is limited, and we have this huge experience in our lives and then this limited funnel that we have to try to jam it through to communicate it to someone else. So Brynn's going to help us with that today. Yay for her. Want to say good morning to James, and then James, if you would pass it off and introduce Brynn. And we love her and we want to send her lots of good vibes because she's had some tough times getting in with us this morning. So James, unmute, say hi.
Oh, I'm unmuted. It's great to be here this morning, and I'm excited to explore this a little bit. And I am definitely one for searching for words on a constant basis. Yes, so great to be here. It is beautiful outside here in sunny southern Utah, and we'll go ahead and introduce Brynn.
Brynn, you'll need to unmute. There you go.
Good morning. I'm so glad to be here.
So tell us, if you could, you know, a little bit about what we're talking about when it's how to choose the right words for your customer. How do we learn that?
Well, I appreciate what you said about the snow, and it's true. So what ends up happening is those of us who are really good at what we do, and we've been doing it for a long time, we get into this kind of rut. And I'm sure that you've been to networking groups where people kind of rip out their elevator speech like they're, you know, like a robocaller. Hi, I'm in and this and this and this. Like there's usually like a sequence of 3 things. I help do this, and then I do that, and then we do that, and then we're done. Boom. And it kind of leaves everybody else sort of going, okay, what? So, so words are kind of my sandbox. That's where I play. And what I help my clients do is kind of connect really what they're very good at, their own brilliance, with the thing they do. We get stuck talking about the thing we do. I'm a lawyer, I do wills and trusts, you know, I'm an insurance person, you know, I can help you with your 401k, and I can, you know, it's like we talk about the things we do, but that doesn't mean anything to the people that we're talking to. So what I help people do is try to create an emotional rapport and a connection through just the language you use. And there's lots of different tricks that we can do to do that. One of the first things that I do is I have people go through an exercise where they start thinking about what their client's going through, and it splits their heads open. It's so fun. So we go actually on a journey with their client. And if anybody's listening to this call and wants to do that with me, I'd be happy to take them through it. So what we do is we start talking about what your client feels like before they work with you, actually before they even know you exist. Like, what's going on in their life? What's going on in their business that's not working for them? And how does it make them feel? So I just work. So, go ahead.
I mean, you not necessarily even, you could be a brand new business person and not even have a client yet, but you have an imaginary client, you know, your ideal prospect or whatever. Is that sort of, you know, like what you and I talked about last week with the...
You can do that. Absolutely, we can all do that. And sometimes it works because an existing business might come out with a whole new product line and they haven't launched it yet. So it's like they're... So we always talk about, you know your ideal client, know your target market. Well, this is another piece of that. It's another piece of how to know it. So sure, you can be a brand new business, but here's the thing. The more specific that you can get with your target market, as you all know, the better. And the more specific you can get with your words, the better. So if you're just giving a generic thing, I help people increase their vitality and their wealth and their blah, blah, blah. It does never stick unless it's specific and specific to that person. It doesn't really stick.
So I know James is dying to say, okay, so I do marketing. What would you say about me, Brynn? Who's my customer and what kind of pain are they in? Are you willing to play with that a little bit, or do you feel like you would rather go on to another subject? Can we play a minute for James?
Oh, James, let's do it. You ready?
No, it's just refreshing to hear others speak from this place, because I think it's one of the biggest challenges anybody in marketing or anybody that has a business and wants to market their business, it's one of the biggest challenges they have is being able to reach their target market at a point and in a way that it compels them to make a choice, to make a decision, or to feel confident that this is what I need or this is who I need.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like what you say, and it is definitely a little bit more intimate kind of perspective that you're alluding to here, because building a client avatar has always been something that I've focused on with potential clients, and that is, what kind of a client do you typically want to attract? What kind of car do they drive? Do they have kids or do they not have kids? Where do they like to eat? What do they like to do? Do they like to golf? And so we build this picture of what that perfect client is. But I really love what you're sharing here, because what you're basically saying is take it deeper, because where do they need to be at, or where are they going to be at to even be interested in what you have to say? So I'm interested in hearing more. So
I'm getting twitchy because this is just so exciting for me. I love talking about this.
We're twitchy.
I know, I'm twitchy. Okay, so one of the things I want to, James, thanks for bringing this up, but we've all heard that emotion sells. So how exactly, if you're new and you're just starting out, how exactly does that work? Well, basically, if somebody throws facts and figures at you, it goes right upstairs and engages your brain. So your brain logically tries to crunch through that data. Is that right for me? Is that the right color? Are those features good for me? Are they ripping me off? Do I trust them? Is this a good fit? Upstairs. But feelings carry emotional power and meaning, and they're actually the thing that move us to act. In fact, before we do anything, we have to feel something. So if you're trying to get people to sign up for something, or before you join a new gym or sign up for a class or buy a car or a new coffee maker, you have to feel something. And that's the realm of branding. So we're trying to match what you want to feel like with the thing that I'm giving you. And so that's the whole reason that I take my people on this, what I call this client journey. I have to come up with a better name for that, speaking of words.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing, is James's head really going to split open, and will we have the camera on it when it does?
Right.
We're watching.
James, you want to do this?
What's that?
Well, let's go through it so people understand what we're talking about, okay? So if you think of, one of your client avatars, a typical client, it's not one person, it's like a conglomeration. What do you feel like, what in your experience, what do they feel like before they work with you? before they even know you? Where are they? And they're like, ugh. And I'll give you a hint. It's always a version of stuck, frustrated, and overwhelmed. But
Yeah.
what's the specific flavor of those things that your people have?
I would say stressed. I would say
By what?
the fact that they have to make a choice, or that they even need to bring somebody else in, so they're not happy with what they've been getting. And I think that's most people that are going to choose someone to do marketing or branding, anything when it comes to this, almost voodoo area of business, because a lot of people think of it as a voodoo area. They're
And they're skeptical, right? They're like,
skeptical.
what are you going to do with all this stuff?
They're very reluctant. They're very untrusting. They've probably been let down by just about every single person who's ever walked in the door and got them excited about something.
Wow.
And so I've always kind of felt it's my responsibility to instill confidence, to help them get excited again, but deliver. And
yeah.
So
I'm gonna do a TO on you for a second, and I want to go back to your clients, because what's going on for you right now is what goes on for everybody in business. We're thinking about what they need from our perspective, and what you're saying is actually not the case. You want to give that, you want to create that trust, so they actually believe in you. I didn't know that what you said, they've been disappointed by everybody they've worked with. That's a heavy load for you to carry as a business owner.
Yeah.
What else do they feel like? What do they want? Like, what is their, on that desire level? What are they after? Feeling wise, not results wise.
Peace.
Relief.
What did you say, Sarah?
I said peace, and she said relief, I think.
Yeah, okay, good. But relief from what? Relief's a big one.
A result.
Yeah, they want to succeed. They want their business to start making more money so they can relax. That's what I meant when I said relief. I mean, I was chiming in here.
James, you got any more on that? Like,
no.
Not just relief from, but what do they want to feel? Like, they want to feel
excitement.
Yeah, excitement. Okay. All right. So this is how they are before they come to, and we could go on and keep drilling it down. What goes on is that underneath every kind of top level feeling, there's another one, and the one you kind of go deeper and deeper into that, it gets back to who they are as a person, not just who they are as a business person or a mom or a dad, but who they are as a human. And when you go there, those connections happen on a really great level. So now you got this client, you're working with them. What do they start to feel like as you're working through the process with them? Usually there's that sense of relief, but there's also this kind of, oh, and maybe if you're working with more buttoned down people, you won't see that as much. It might come out like this, that there's a glimmer of a new possibility. So is that what your people start to feel like?
Yeah, I would say there's some anticipation. There's this. You really do start to see that hopeful side of our personality kind of step out, and most of the clients I work with, it's easy to get a read on where they're at that way. Typically, though, I mean, I've had a few clients that was really difficult to get a read on, and what I came to kind of come to some conclusion of is that they're actually very, very excited and impressed, but they're terrified to let that out, because if they let that out, then they might be giving you more control than they're comfortable with. Is that?
Oh, yeah. That's ironic, too, because their excitement feeds the process and makes you better stuff. Well, probably also they're scared to let it out, not just because they're relinquishing control, but like you said, they've been disappointed before. So I'm sure there's a go ahead and make my day thing going on.
Yeah, kind of waiting for the shoe to drop type.
Yeah. Okay. So often there's also a point in this during, while you're working with somebody where they're starting to see a possibility. They're excited because they see something else that could be happening. Like, there's a new possibility here. Do your people get to that? It's like as you start working through and you show them these ideas and they're like, okay, wow, I could see how this works.
Yeah, and I think the challenge in that is just maintaining momentum. And just keeping things at a pace that's where expectations can be reasonable, and there's a willingness to invest a little more time, because as much as people want to put an ad out and have their business explode, that's just not the reality. It is a conversation. It's a process, and so we've had several clients where within the first 2 or 3 months we filled their appointment book for the next 3 months, and they actually come on and say stop.
They weren't expecting that, right?
Right, but if you pull back too soon, then it's just going to fall off the cliff again.
Right, I understand.
And so navigating that sometimes I consider my responsibility and challenge, but it's also being able to communicate that in a way that the clients or the businesses can take a deep breath and also kind of go through that burn, the jogger's wall, if you will, and navigate a long-term process or conversation. But
so it's interesting that you said it's a long-term conversation. I keep thinking of this thing that Jeff Bezos said, who started Amazon. Branding is what they say about you when you're not in the room. So part of that long-term conversation is, what are they saying over the long haul? For me, it comes down to 2 things. Did it work? And how did it make me feel? So I keep kind of going back into that feeling place, and it's never about like making people cry. It's about making them feel so that they act. So once your clients are kind of, you've completed a successful campaign, how do they feel then? What's the after feeling that your people get?
I got to be careful. It depends on where they live. The typical business owner here, and let's put it in these perspectives. Your smaller-based community type businesses, it's real easy for them to take success for granted and expect that because I've reached this certain level, I can relax, and I'm going to keep this. Now I have something I can build on, and I don't need this person or that tool or whatever. And but in a larger market with where you've got more savvy business owners, if you will, there's this understanding that it's an ebb and flow, and as I'm answering that, I kind of lost.
No, it's okay. You're
the point of the question, but.
Well, it's another extension of that longer conversation you talked about. What is the longer so in that ebb and flow, how are you going to get them to come back? So I want to ask you though, it's like, so they've achieved some level of success. How do they actually feel? So we're going to take you out of the loop again, go back over into their heads. How do they feel?
Hopeful, peaceful, I think.
Psyched, excited.
Yeah. I would hope. Yeah, again, it's that
Right.
It's that how much do I let go? And so I think there's always that little bit of a reservation, whether that's a protective shell or.
But here they are over there. The phone's ringing, right? They're filling up their appointment book. So how do they feel about that?
They're happy and excited. Yay!
I would guess.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Sorry?
I said I would hope so, yes.
Right. Okay, so...
Maybe overwhelmed, which seems to me could be actually an additional service, and that, or an anticipatory guidance thing that you could do with your clients so that they continue the relationship, because if they become overwhelmed and they didn't expect that and they didn't know and they have no tools to do with it, that might be a reason that they say, I don't need you anymore, I can't handle this. And that's not what you want long term, I'm assuming. So if they become overwhelmed with the amazing increase in business, how do we help them with that?
Well, that's a good point. And it may be that one of the things that you do on a branding level is you figure out where they are in their experience, and you try to create the experience that you want them to feel. So as you're approaching the end of a campaign and it's successful, to be able to talk people through and say, a lot of things happen when a successful campaign, it's like when people go on Shark Tank and they hit it out of the park and then they go bankrupt because they can't handle production, right? So I get what you're saying. But you can tie in you can help them out by saying, sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, and a lot of people think that's the time, I can do this on my own. So what we've got in place are a few kind of anchors that we can give you when if that overwhelm hits. So when you see it, you're like, okay, I'm right on track. And that means now you can dial it down to a whole nother level. So if you can match what you're delivering them to what they're experiencing, that kind of synchronicity and alignment is even stronger.
Right.
Well, and it's a moment for celebration instead of a, wait a minute, I wasn't expecting this, I feel lousy. Forgive me, but in labor and delivery, they tell you when you get to transition, you feel like, okay, I'm ready to kill myself now, and I can't do this anymore. Go ahead and just cut me in half and take the baby out. Well, that's the time when actually, if somebody knows this and says to you, guess what? That means you're almost done. When you begin to panic, that means the baby's coming. Yay! And so even though it's a miserable time, you might be overwhelmed, this is a celebration because it's been a success. That's what it actually means, and turning it and helping them see it that way, help them with their feelings. This is great stuff.
Most of the people that I work with on this whole thing, their clients get to the end result and they're flabbergasted, they're stunned, they're excited. And this goes for every range of business there is. If you're a realtor, or if you're a tech support person, I've got a client that helps install insulation. So the after feeling is different, but it's always the same. It's yeah, you're right, sir. They're happy. The insulation purpose is like, I'm warm finally. My little baby in the crib, or my father in his wheelchair, he's warm. He's safe. So another client that I work with is a hospice person. So that's a little dicey. After they're done working with her, somebody's died. So it's not like a yay, happy thing, but she does give this. The people that have gone through this really wrenching loss know they're going to be okay. They know, they don't know how, but they know they're going to be okay. And that's a huge delivery too. So what I want to say about that after feeling, and it's specific to your people in your industry, is that's really the ultimate thing that we're all selling. We're selling this feeling of transformation. So I call that a transformational feeling. And a brand is designed to identify what that is and match it to the people that are looking for that same thing in this specific industry. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that also helps that in navigating that. I think it would help kind of stage and set up for the what's next kind of scenario.
And for people who are just beginning, in a way, working with someone's like going on a date. I mean, you don't deliver the goods on the first date, right? You're just slowly getting to know each other, and you're wondering, can I trust you, and can I trust me, and do I feel like myself with you? And of course, that's what we all want to give our people as we're working with them, our clients. They want to know, can I trust you to work with me? Do you understand what I need? And so when you can tie language into those points where they're really looking for it, you can create a much stronger connection.
Well, and it seems to me that that's really what it really is still, as always, all about, is building a relationship that serves both people. And this is another set of really cool tools to do that.
It is.
I just got to say, we're almost out of time.
Okay.
And I want to make sure that Brynn has one nugget that she really wanted to make sure she got in there, because, boom, this goes really fast every time. Is there another thing that you want to make sure that you get said, Brynn?
Sure. One of the other things that I want to just give to you, and then I'll let you know about something that you might want to take a look at. Also be aware of that every one of us has our own insider language. And just know that if I'm a marketing guy and you're not, my marketing language isn't going to hit over there. Same
Right.
for financial people or realtors or dog trainers. It doesn't matter. If you've got special language, be careful that you're not giving it to your people, because they don't know what it means. It doesn't mean anything. It confuses them, and it makes people feel stupid. So be aware of the language, your favorite words, and test them out on your friends or other colleagues. Make sure they're actually ones that other people know. And the other thing, too, is using a normal word in a weird context, like leverage. That's a common one. It means like dig a rock out of a hole with a big stick, right?
Mm-hmm.
But leverage for a lawyer is different for leverage for an investor. Different, so it's like one of these buzzwords that we really. So just be careful of your buzzwords. And if you'd like to know more about how to put language to work for your business and feel better about who you are in the sense of your own purpose and connecting to that as well as your customers, you can check out a program that I've got called Connect to Sell. We're actually starting up a new cycle this Friday.
Connect to Sell, right?
Connect to Sell. And you can find out about that on the program tab of my website.
Okay, so you can see under Brynn's name the Mindspark branding. That's her website, and of course we'll put that up on the YouTube channel as well, so you'll be able to follow up with that and check her out as well. So we're down to the wire here. Would you like
Thank
to?
you so much.
One of the things that we do at the end, Brynn, if we can, is have a moment of celebration, and maybe your celebration is you got through this. But if there's anything else you want to sort of reflect on the last few weeks, something that went well, because we know that often as entrepreneurs we tend to just grind away and not go, oh wow, that actually worked, yay, very often, and we want to encourage our audience to do that by exampling it. And James, you say goodbye, and maybe you have a celebration, and that'll give Brynn a minute to think about if she's got one.
Well, it's been very, very enlightening, and I've thoroughly enjoyed this short, albeit conversation. It's definitely given me some insights to think about, and I appreciate that. So I'm James McFadden. I'm here in sunny southern Utah, and one of the things that I love to do in this community here is I serve right now currently as the president of the St. George Exchange Club, and we do many, many, many events here in this area. One of them is the Iron Kids Fun Run, and I'm real excited because just this last week we got approval from Ironman officials to pursue a world record in our Iron Kids Fun Run. So
Sweet.
we're applying for that, and we've got the school district and the city council and the parks department and just a bunch of people that are actually stepping up and saying yes. And so that's just a tremendous, exciting time. So, yoo-hoo! It's a good deal. Thanks.
Terrific.
That's great. Brynn, would you like to sign out? And
Sure. Thank you very much for having me on this. It's great to meet all your people. I have lots to celebrate, and I think for me, one of my biggest joys is watching my clients' eyes go up with a whole new possibility about who they could be to their people and who they are to themselves. So my greatest joy is connecting people to themselves and who they really want to work with in a way that feels strong and powerful and empowering for everybody. So I'm thrilled to be here.
thanks, Brynn.
Thank you.
So we are done already, but I do want to say, I just I've known Brynn for probably about a year, I'm not sure, and she's a local here in Tahoe, Reno area, and I ran into her last week, and we were talking a little bit about some of the business projects I have and hers, and, just in that short conversation, because a lot of what I end up doing with people is checking their written work, and proofreading is basically all it is. And I don't think of it as any real exciting skill or gift of love, but it actually is. And that was one of the things we talked about. There's some people that I've known that have a great deal of pain around getting their papers back when they were in school with stuff written all over them in red ink. And feeling failures because they, that's what they focus on instead of all the stuff they got right. And I can help with that, and it's kind of cool to know that. Hi, baby. And Brynn really helped me clarify that a little bit more. So that's the kind of stuff you can get at is how do you help people feel by giving them the service that you have to give them. And relief is one of them, I think, and that's nice. So another Monday's over. You can find me right there, Sarah Coolidge, at mymondaymomentum.com. Lots of other videos from our other shows, connections to the books we talk about. And we really want to hear from you. So please go there, go to the YouTube channel and like it and subscribe, and let us know what was your favorite stuff, what do you want to know more about, and how have you used what we've given you, because now it's time to go to work. It's Monday, and there's no more excuses. So get out there, build your dream, go find whatever you need to find to make it happen, and then tell us about it, because we want to know. We're here cheering you on. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.